20-plus win seasons, first ever at Oklahoma State to start his career in that fashion. The 5'9" Amber battle against LaShawn Jones, and it is Oklahoma State's ball as they win the opening tip. We are underway in a Play for K day here.
In the last 3 games on the road for Oklahoma State, as Jones powers in there for a shot, have been at Oklahoma, their Bedlam rival, at Baylor, and at West Virginia. And Oklahoma State has not played well on the road, but those are the 3 toughest opponents for them on the road. This will be big for them today.
Taylor misses that first shot, but the rebound gathered in by Battle. She's 7th in the league in that category. So a new possession.
Man-to-man defense from Oklahoma State, going to put a lot of pressure on the ball.
Whistle and a foul, and Nobles heads to the line.
And there, Texas Tech was able to use a little bit of a mismatch, and the fact that Nobles a little more mobile than Jones. They clear out the right side of the lane, open it up for Noble to take it at her and get a chance to go to the free throw line.
Chantal Nobles, the senior out of Hazlet, Texas, 68% free throw shooter, puts the first point on the board for the Lady Raiders.
Still physically recovering, had so many health issues last year, but one of the experienced players on this team with so many new faces.
And we are tied at 2 after she hits both free throws. You see the OSU starters, including Suttles, making her 15th start of the season, getting back into the lineup. Deep underneath is Jones, follows up her own miss. No, the loose ball tracked down and kept alive by the Cowgirls.
So already you've seen for Oklahoma State going to Jones inside. Texas Tech attacked her on the other end, but she has been taking the first couple of shots before that one from Bias.
After Bias missed the 3, another offensive rebound and a reset of that shot clock.
That's something that Oklahoma State does extremely well, out-rebounding their opponents by 7 rebounds a game. Texas Tech has to keep them off the boards.
Martin with the fall away, no. Ball out of bounds off Texas Tech. And the never-ending possession, it seems, for Oklahoma State. This will be their 4th opportunity.
Yeah, Oklahoma State came out flat in that game against West Virginia. West Virginia playing extremely well right now, but the Mountaineers got off to a 14-0 start, so a better start here today for Oklahoma State.
How did Brittany Martin find the space as she went up and under to give OK State the court 2 advantage?
And the Cowgirls were able to finally take advantage of all those offensive rebounds.
Spears been playing exceptionally in the last week. Battle dealing with double and triple teams recently. Lizarazu missing the 3. Scramble for the loose ball. On the floor is Nobles. Gets it away, but out of bounds on the near sideline.
So some good hustle. You know, Candy Whitaker talked to us about the fact that this team, Texas Tech, is not practicing every day like they haven't won a game in this conference. They're not hanging their heads. They're not looking at it with despair. They're working hard to get better every single game. That's a real reflection of their coach.
Martin buries the step back. 2 in a row from the field for Brittany Martin, fine sophomore out of Syracuse, Utah.
So often you get confidence when you make one of those tough shots like she did on the last possession. So now she's feeling it a little bit. Texas Tech going to have to try to keep it out of her hands.
Deep underneath, that ball never touched the rim, and Oklahoma State comes away with it almost 3 minutes in. Bias with a quick cross-court pass for Donahoe. Texas Tech defense readjusts. Bias controls. You'll hear that a lot.
Setting the table. I mean, that's her job. Pushing in tempo or pushing in transition, but also setting it up.
Nice ball rotation. As the entry goes to Jones, everybody has touched the ball on this possession, but nobody took the shot. And a violation as Texas Tech's defense creates a turnover.
Just not the awareness of the shot clock winding down. Part of that was the ball got away from Martin and just the scramble mode they were in, but you gotta have that internal clock, have a sense of what the timing is.
This is Battle. Nobles having a good start to this ballgame, couldn't hold on to that rebound. Here comes Bias in transition. Bias with that hesitation, tough pass to Donahoe.
right there on the catch Battle. Amber Battle gets a lot of credit for the offense she plays, but she's matched up with Martin here and was right there. We said you have to find Martin because she's hit a couple of shots back-to-back, and Battle was right there, not allowing that next shot.
Tough defense by the Lady Raiders. Down to 3 on the shot clock. Bias will take it and bury the wing right jumper.
That's an awfully tough matchup for Lizarazu because as only a freshman having to defend one of the best players who's ever played in Oklahoma State history, you're going to have to hang with her.
This is Cook-Taylor, no. Nobles battling Jones. Jones wins that battle. And here it comes ahead to Donahoe. Donahoe bounces off the defender, floats one up long. Jones with the offensive rebound and is fouled. 15:33 remaining in this first half of play. To make a donation, log on to kyao.com. Kay Yow, the Hall of Fame coach from North Carolina State. And what an inspiration she has been for so many. Unfortunate passing in 2009.
Yeah, just galvanized the entire coaching industry. Everybody in women's basketball coming together for this important cause. Marcia Sharp here at Texas Tech was the executive director of that fund, the Kay Yow Fund, for a while, still involved, and Kay Yow, just a marvelous person and taken from us too soon, but before she left us, was very adamant about everybody gathering together to raise money, raise awareness to fight this disease.
She's a terrific coach, over 700 career wins, and of course, as we mentioned, a Hall of Famer, but probably an even better person. I had the joy of working with one of her sisters, Susan, when I was in the WNBA. And of course, Debbie is another one of her sisters, the athletic director at NC State.
You know, just have so many great stories about her. She would appreciate a shot like that from Spears, a great three-point shot. But the first time that I met Kay Yow was as a high school coach myself, going to a coaching clinic, listening to her. And then a few years later, when I was a college coach, I saw her at the WBCA Coaches Convention and went up and introduced myself, and she acted as if she had known me forever. And I think that's the way she treated everybody. She was such a kind soul and treated everybody with respect. And it was just so great to know her and work with her over the years.
They call that foul against Texas Tech. Much to the chagrin of Candy Whitaker, first-year head coach for the Lady Raiders. Of course, worked with Jim Littell a year ago as associate head coach.
And has her hands full here as so many great seniors graduated from this team last year. And so really, as she took it over, she knew what she was in for as far as a rebuilding effort with all those seniors graduating.
And as you mentioned, the team's going to have her personality, right? Point guards need that kind of intensity on the floor in practice and during games.
She has great pride in this program. Took a couple of Texas Tech teams to Sweet 16s when she was here as a point guard. Wants to bring that tradition back.
Caston misses from the right wing for 3, and here comes Bias. Bias with the crossover, splits 2, gets 2, plus the foul.
Now, once again, that's just a lot for Lizarazu to have to try to contain Tiffany Bias. Just quick change of direction, gets by. Little bump there by the freshman as Bias goes to the basket. That's where Bias took over as the starting point guard for Oklahoma State in her very first season, was the heir apparent to Andrea Riley. Didn't have anybody to learn from on the team, had learned by trial and error, and has had a marvelous career. It's hard to believe that it is almost the end of her senior season.
High school player of the year in Kansas in her senior season of high school. She was second team all Big 12 a year ago. That shot is off the mark by Lockhart, but the offensive rebound gives them a new shot clock. That time it was Caston grabbing the loose ball.
Besides that three-pointer by Spears, Texas Tech has not hit a field goal yet. And Amber Battle has been contained pretty well, only one shot attempt so far.
Defense has helped keep them close. Had a shot clock violation and nearly a second one early in this ball game. Off the right baseline, that jump shot no good by Haley Schneider. It's out of bounds. It'll still be Texas Tech basketball.
But we're seeing some of that athletic defense that I talked about is an advantage for Oklahoma State. Long, quick. They're keeping Texas Tech out in front, and Texas Tech's having a very difficult time getting any clean looks at the basket.
Raymond Lockhart, the freshman out of Red Oak, Texas, with that basketball, finds Caston.
A 2-3 zone off the baseline, out of bounds play.
Caston trying to drive the baseline. Turnaround banker won't go. The rebound belongs to Suttles.
Got herself a good look to be under control and put it off the backboard. Under control and balance. She was a little off balance.
A blocking foul as Brittany Martin drove the left baseline. It's on Battle. Fouls on Texas Tech. This is Bias. Rainbow jumper goes through for 2 more. And a timeout for Candy Whitaker.
Lockhart was on Bias and tried to trail her.
Tiffany Bias with 7 of the 13 Oklahoma State points early on, helping them to the 13-5 advantage. A timeout by Candy Whitaker, trying to slow down the All-America candidate a little bit. This is Schneider in the middle of that zone. Won't go again. They're getting some pretty good looks.
Yeah, it was a nice flash into the high post area of the zone. Just couldn't get it to go down.
Bias with a nice delivery to Atkins from the right baseline. Missed the rim. Long rebound. Nice play by Lockhart to steal that away from Martin.
Yeah, great hustle play by Lockhart.
Caston finds a teammate in the corner. That's Battle. The back down. The turn to the baseline. And the tie-up. Possession arrow belongs to the Cowgirls.
You know, Tiffany Bias, one of the best defenders in this conference. All over Atkins there, gets her hands on it, wraps her up before she even has a chance to go up.
Candy Whitaker seems a little bit of disbelief over that last transaction on her offensive end. With under 12 minutes to go in this first half, the Texas Tech offense struggling. Suttles takes it into the lane, and her pocket is picked by Lockhart. Dives on it to keep possession. Possession arrow belongs to the Lady Raiders. 11:39 remaining. Kansas City, or the women's tournament in Oklahoma City, by following the Big 12 on Twitter. We're seeking 100,000 followers. You can sign up on the official contest page at the Big 12's Facebook page. And of course, there's no purchase necessary to win. So you get great basketball, and you can have a little fun with it too, like Battle just did from the perimeter.
Well, it's been tough for Battle to even get a look at the basket so far. She was 0 for 1 before that one, and just confidently elevating, showing her athleticism on that shot. Got the ball and just went up for the jumper.
Lady Raiders were 1 for 11 from the field before Battle's jumper went through. The kick out comes to Atkins for 3, won't go. Rebound Jones, doubled there, maneuvers away from it, falls away, and knocks it down.
And really used her strength against Nobles that time, just pushing and being aggressive and physical to get the rebound and then power it back up.
Spears, Lockhart, missing the 3, and away with it is Martin, who is 2nd in the Big 12 in defensive rebounds. There's a rejection by Battle as she shows some of her great athleticism.
Heck of a rotation over defensively, because Bias saw that she could get by Spears, but she did not see Battle coming from behind. Watch as Battle rotates from the backside, able to get a hand on it. What a great athletic play by Battle. Again, showing not just an offensive player.
Donahoe fouled on the leaner left of the lane. That ball had barely left the shooter's hand when Battle rejected it out of bounds.
There's a look at the treadmill. I love this, that Texas Tech every year, and you can see Marcia Sharp in the background, but Donna Smith, the wife of Tubby Smith, the men's coach here at Texas Tech, is spending some time on the treadmill, and it's part of the efforts to raise money. As they raise funds here, part of the money goes to the Marcia Sharp Leadership Circle, part of the money goes to the Kay Yao Fund, and so you'll see various people here on the treadmill throughout the course of the game.
Will we see any broadcasters on the treadmill before the course of this game is over?
I did a couple of years ago, a few years ago, but I don't know. You know, I think the time is all taken up today.
Oh, is it?
That's what I heard.
You know, we were actually, the truck was raising funds for that, I think.
Right.
Led by our producer, Eric Josephson. Whistle with a foul underneath.
It'll take a little more than a few quarters in the pocket, I think.
To the line is Diamond Lockhart, a freshman who's been impressive early on. She's been around the ball a lot. Now she gets a chance to score for the first time.
Yeah, she has. She's had some hustle plays, gotten her hands on a rebound, dove on the floor after a basketball. That's the kind of energy you need. And as Texas Tech builds toward the future, and they are out on the recruiting trails hard as they want to rebuild this program, but Candy Whitaker evaluating who's going to continue to be a part of this program going forward. And all those young players with an opportunity here down the stretch to show what they can bring to the court against a ranked opponent.
Lockhart closes the gap to 8 with the 2-for-2 trip to the line. Johnson leans in, traveled before the dribble drop.
Well, Johnson's had some good games in Big 12 play, hit some key baskets down the stretch in that overtime loss to Baylor, and then the game-winning shot against TCU, the next one. She had been starting, but Jim Littell going with Suttles in the starting lineup now the last 3 games.
Johnson had struggled a little bit as the whistle blows against OSU.
Yeah, Marisha Wallace just had her hand on Battle, and that's part of the emphasis this year. You can't hand check and leave your hand on the ball handler, and she just kept it on her hip.
Spears is back in. Saw Lockhart takes his seat. Spears controls up top against Bias.
And this is where I think Texas Tech has the best opportunity, is on these inbounds plays, because Oklahoma State goes to the 2-3 zone, and there are gaps in this zone that Texas Tech can attack, and you can see Wallace picking up back-to-back fouls by pushing Schneider underneath. Not making the most of her playing time.
The inbound battle, catch and shoot, as you just said. Offensive rebound, stick back is short, still battling for the loose ball, but Donahoe comes away with it. Here comes Bias in transition. As 3 Lady Raiders are back, Bias doesn't care.
Gets right around the first defender and right into the lane. Such quick change of speed, a great burst.
9 for Tiffany Bias. She has matched the Lady Raiders total with 9 minutes remaining in the first half.
See the hard hedge from Oklahoma State, making Battle get rid of the basketball on this end.
Beautiful crossover dribble drive by Cook-Taylor, plus the foul.
Look on the other end, as going right at Battle that time. Bias goes around Battle and then right over Spears, under control. The last time we saw the opposite of that. She went around Spears and then she was blocked by Battle. But that time she got around Battle on the initial move.
Yvonne Cook-Taylor with the 3-point play. That was a beautiful move off the left to right crossover dribble drive. Closes it to a 7-point game. Bias doesn't have an assist yet, but she has a game-high 9 points. This is Donahoe. 10 on the clock for Bias. Donahoe for 3. Missed the rim. Cook-Taylor comes the other way.
And Texas Tech has played pretty good half-court defense. It's where Oklahoma State's got most of their scoring in transition, so they're causing the Cowgirls some problems.
Battle inside the arc, delivers a 2-ball.
How about that? There were 3 different Oklahoma State defenders around her that time. Again, Battle showing her versatility, her athleticism.
Second field goal closes the gap to 5. Just over 8 minutes remaining in this first half of play in Lubbock, Texas. Johnson thought about it, gives it back to the veteran Bias. Strong drive. Nice defense as they collapse around her. And a loose ball foul going against OSU. Break of the action.
The first time in the first half, we didn't allow second and third opportunities. We contained bias. We rebounded well. We executed. But in the second half, we didn't defend very well, and it got away from us, turned the ball over. But in the first half, they played tough. And Texas Tech has played well here at home. They had Iowa State beat here in Lubbock, and it ended up going to overtime. Iowa State won that game. And Texas Tech coming off a game where they played Kansas State to within 6 points. So, you know, this is a team that has gotten better throughout the course of the year and giving themselves an opportunity here today.
Haley Schneider makes it a 7-0 Lady Raiders run and a one-possession game. This is Martin from the top of the key. Battle rising above everyone else. Battle front court right. In the corner, Cook-Taylor uses the Schneider screen. Suttles batted the pass into the corner. Bias ends up with it. This is Martin, who scored the first 4 points for OSU today. Hasn't scored since, misses from the baseline. Spears starts out for Texas Tech.
So better rebounding than at the beginning of the game. Texas Tech was giving up a lot of offensive rebounds early.
Battle with a slick move. Offensive rebound, Nobles. She'll head back to the line.
Boy, everybody in the crowd here just groaned because that was such a sweet shot by Amber Battle. Just rolled in and around and out the rim. Watch as she just explodes up in the air. Such vertical leaping ability, but good position by Nobles to retrieve the rebound and get an opportunity at the line.
And Nobles delivers on the first. Nobles is now 3 for 3 at the line. She can make this a 1-point game.
We talked about Nobles having limited playing time last year as she battled health issues. Amber Battle only had 13 minutes per game behind all those seniors. And then you look up and down the rest of the lineup, you either have freshmen or upperclassmen that didn't get any playing time last year. So their playing time has come this season where they have had to get better each game just to survive.
And the offensive foul goes against the Cowgirls, who a moment ago on the defensive end committed a foul. So they're now in the penalty. They're now over the limit. And so free throws could very possibly factor in a big way for Texas Tech late in this first half.
Well, and that's where if you're Oklahoma State, you're the ranked team here. You need to play well on the road and not commit the fouls, need to execute well, do the things you need to do. Right now, Oklahoma State not getting much on the offensive end at all.
Nobles turned in to the second defender and got the call.
Foul number 45,
Caitlin Lecker with the foul, so you're in the bonus.
Well, and watch as Nobles turns, Lecker tries to reach in to grab it, and right after that, Tiffany Bias, the veteran, comes up to her and says, straight up, go straight up, be there. You know that she's going to turn, as Lecker has 3 fouls. You know from the scouting report that if she sets up one way, she may turn the other way. Be ready.
Look at that offensive rebound by Cook-Taylor and put it through. So they get to 2. We're tied at 19 with under 6 minutes remaining in the half.
So it's been a combination for the Lady Raiders. Good half-court defense and better shooting.
Johnson for 2. This is Battle.
Good decision. When you're in a situation like this, you've got some momentum. Get the ball in Amber Battle's hands as much as possible.
Spears maneuvering on Martin, can't gain any ground, finds Battle. Splits 2 defenders. Cook-Taylor, corner, 3-ball, make it a 2-ball. Bottomed it out, and look who's leading. Texas Tech with a 21. They haven't allowed a field goal in over 4 minutes of play.
That's why I said their defense is tightening up. They haven't allowed those baskets in transition that we saw earlier where Tiffany Bias was taking the ball down the court and attacking, and the half-court defense by Texas Tech has been solid, limiting Oklahoma State to 1 shot per possession.
A 1 of 11 start for the Lady Raiders. They've made 6 of their last 10. Suttles for 3. Rebound belongs to Cook Taylor. Another stop for the Lady Raiders. This is a 3-ball. Several deflections and ends up into the hands of Rashunda Johnson.
That's a good play by Johnson because there were 3 different Lady Raiders that had an opportunity at that.
Donahoe, 3-ball, no. Rebound belongs to Spears. 4.5 left in the half.
All right, you're Oklahoma State. You've just had Texas Tech come back on you and take the lead, and the next 2 shots you take are 3-pointers. Not the best shots for them.
Spears, scooping in traffic, hit the floor hard as it didn't go and went out of bounds off of Texas Tech. She was shaken up just a bit, but she'll stay in the game.
Why do I say that about the Oklahoma State offense? When a team is coming back on you that isn't a favorite in this game, you're the favored team, you need to answer back. Don't allow them to have the lead. Answer back with a high percentage shot. Attack the rim. Here Tiffany Bias is coming off a staggered screen. Attack the rim and make the Texas Tech defenders defend.
Shuttles hands off to Bias, 8 to shoot. Bias from the left wing, that's their 8th consecutive missed shot. And the rebound is in the hands of Spears.
And it wasn't a 3-point shot, but it was a perimeter shot. And it was a tough one at that, going over Battle.
Lady Raiders once down double digits, up 2, and the ball under 3:40 to go. Schneider looking for help, comes in the form of Caston. Battle with the ball with 3, with 2, launches it left key and buries it.
Wow. Tiffany Bias was all over her. The shot clock was winding down and Battle just elevated for the shot.
You see the look on her face, like as if to say, that went, oh yes. It's a 12-0 Texas Tech run. A remarkable turn of events here in the first half in Lubbock. This is Johnson. Martin. That won't go. Spears the rebound. 9 straight misses on the OSU part, and Texas Tech adds to its lead.
Battle just challenged Brittany Martin, just took it right at her.
A 14-0 run for the Lady Raiders. Now a 6-point game.
As good of a season as Oklahoma State has had overall, they have had stretches where they lose their confidence, and you're seeing it right now.
And a whistle underneath and a push.
Foul on 0, Rashunda Johnson.
Keep that chemistry. You want to keep the same people in the game that have gotten you here, and you never know what a substitution at this point would have to do, but Spears showing her grittiness.
She was fouled on that play, misses the first of 2. They're now 6 for 9 at the free throw line versus 3 of 5 for Oklahoma State. So they've made up some room. And now a total of 4 points for Minta Spears. Oklahoma State, which was 50% from the field early on, made just 2 of its last 14, and as we mentioned, they've missed 10 in a row.
And remember where those points came from. Martin had a couple early, and then they finally get one from Donahoe, but we saw Tiffany Bias score, taking the ball around defenders, attacking, and then out of the timeout, they finally stopped the run with a shot from Donahoe.
Donahoe's 47th, made 3 of the season. She's 3rd in the conference. Here's the drive. Battle is fouled. Didn't get the layup to go, but she'll head to the line. They're in the double bonus.
Took it right by Brittany Atkins, who actually has a lot of familiarity with Candy Whitaker. Brittany Atkins grew up in Kansas City while Candy Whitaker was a coach at UMKC, and you'll see Atkins trying to recover, comes right down on the head of Amber Battle, but Atkins was a standout high school player in Kansas City, and originally she had signed with UMKC to play for Candy Whitaker, but when Candy left and took the associate head coaching job at Oklahoma State, UMKC released Atkins, and she had other choices, but chose to go to Oklahoma State because of her familiarity with Candy Whitaker.
Amber Battle gets the 2nd of the 2 free throws. She has 9. The lead is 5 for the Lady Raiders. Here's Martin. Fall away, catches air. Battle rebound. Battle the other way. Battle finds Cook Taylor for the lay-in.
Beautiful job of keeping the ball away from the shot blocker that time by Cook Taylor.
Battle doing a little bit of everything. 7-point game. Donahoe wants another tray, and she's got another tray. Remember, she set an OSU record with 7 threes in a game.
You know, we hadn't really heard from her at all in this game, and I mentioned earlier that that may not be the shot you want to take when you are trying to stop the momentum. However, she hits one in the corner, you keep going to that. If it's working, that's what you want to build upon. But we've still just seen jump shots from Oklahoma State.
Nobles misses, tipped by Cook Taylor, no, and Suttles ends up with the basketball. We're at 45 seconds to play. It is a 20-6 Tech run, and there's the foul. As OSU finally attacking the middle of the lane for Jim Littell. Coming up at halftime, of course, Brenda Van Lingen will interview both coaches. We'll get Brenda's X's and O's. And look at some stats from the first half. Candy Whitaker's going to want to look at that stat sheet at halftime. Her team with a great comeback here after down by double digits about midway through this first half. Bias delivering on the first free throw. She's in double digits with 10. And making both at the line, the All-American candidate has closed the gap to 2. With 40 seconds remaining, OSU should get another possession before the half is over. On that pass at the baseline, recovered there nicely by Nobles, but she's stripped on the way up by Martin. One of the best in all of college basketball, the #1 in steals in the conference. And as Bias delivers in transition, we are tied at 29, a 7-0 OSU run.
That's a big defensive stop for Oklahoma State, and then Bias comes right back. Maybe could have used the entire shot clock. We'll see if Texas Tech makes them pay here.
Bias with a game-high 13, with 2, with 1. Caston's got to let it fly. She does. And it was on target, but wouldn't go. As
Bias was aggressive off the dribble early, then she set up Donahoe for that big 3 late. As you heard Jim Littell say, we got to know where Battle is. She is such a catalyst for this offense, whether she's scoring or setting up others.
First possession belongs to Oklahoma State, and the first 2 points belong to LaShawn Jones.
Well, you heard Jim Littell say we got to get it into the lane more, and that's what I was saying in the first half. They were settling for the outside jumpers. They were settling for the 3-pointers. So what do? First possession, they go to the paint.
They now have 10 points in the paint, 6 for Jones overall. Schneider, after the miss, can't connect from the baseline, and here comes Bias.
Good follow. And to finish that, this is an opportunity here for Texas Tech. You've got a ranked team here, got them on the ropes a little bit, playing with a lot of energy. It was interesting how Candy Whitaker really emphasized the energy and how hard Texas Tech played. Jim Littell was more about the technical things, and I think it's just right on cue for both teams. Those are the things that they need to emphasize here in the second half.
Donahoe with a look of disgust on her face after she made such a great effort to get to the rim and then had the layup roll off the rim and out of bounds. It'll be Texas Tech basketball. Maybe Jim Littell had the same feeling.
But at least trying to get to the paint, and that's where they were settling for the perimeter jumpers in the first half.
Long range bomb by Spears, no. Schneider battling, and coming away with it is Battle. That's what they did from the midway point to the final buzzer of the first half, winning the little games underneath.
Well, exactly, and that's what, as we looked at the stats there, the fact that Texas Tech out-rebounded Oklahoma State, huge.
Cook Taylor got the spin. She got the call as well. She'll head to the line.
So the move by Nobles and then the nice flash through the lane. Cook Taylor made herself available. It tripped a little bit, but that's where the foul was. But that's what happens when you stay active away from the ball. You make yourself available, you make yourself a target so that your teammates can get you the ball in a position to score.
Texas Tech has retaken the lead 32-31 on the three-point play by Cook Taylor. That was the second dime of the day for Chantal Nobles, which ties her career high.
That's what happens when the post player gets double teamed and you move around her, cut to the basket or relocate on the perimeter, set you up for good opportunities for shots.
Bias out of the corner into traffic and travels.
Rare mistake by one of the best in the country at assist to turnover ratio, but trying to make something happen, attacking, just wasn't able to execute that time.
It was her first turnover of the game, in fact. We're 2 minutes into the second half.
2-3 zone look here for Oklahoma State's D.
This is Nobles. He's played a solid game. Spins in the lane, left it short. Rebound belongs to Martin.
That's maybe why you don't see Nobles having a lot of assists typically. Her teammates really weren't moving that time for her, and she got a little impatient.
Bias calls out the play near the center line. Screen set by Suttles. The driving kick. Donahoe, 3-ball, buries it. She's made 3 in a row, going back to the last couple of minutes of the first half.
And again, it's set up by the Bias dribble penetration. Draws the defender just enough away from Donahoe.
She's made all 3 threes made by the Cowgirls today. Cook Taylor's pass is kicked out of bounds by Brittany Martin.
So Tiffany Bias on the other end was getting the on-ball screen here. As she dribbles, watch this defender down there come away from Donahoe just a little bit. That gave her the room to hit the three-pointer.
Bias with the interception. Bias, one-on-one, left it short, got her own miss, and brings it back out.
Good recovery by Bias. Not sure why she just didn't go up for the layup on her first attempt instead of waiting.
Misses from the perimeter. The offensive rebound, Suttles. Johnson, the lefty, buries it.
Suttles has a nice jumper, and she is learning kind of on-the-job training behind Tiffany Bias, as she will be the point guard for this team next year.
This is Battle. Had the shot rejected by Suttles. Tries to lob ahead for Bias. Intercepted there by Texas Tech. But then Cook Taylor's pass, an ensuing pass, picked off, and Bias will finish on the other end. And a timeout for Texas Tech.
Just let that one slip away when you get out. But Candy was the floor general. She led this team to 2 Sweet 16s in her time, and she has that energy and spirit. And you knew when she was a player that someday she would be a great coach, and she certainly is. And somebody they are very excited about what she's going to be able to do here in the coming years.
As the Lady Raiders work around the zone, and now shooting over the zone is Jasmine Caston, and it's a one-possession game again.
That's a big shot out of the timeout. Candy Whitaker, formerly Candy White, had called the timeout because it was getting away from Texas Tech a little bit. You come out of the timeout, you get the answer that you're looking for. You try to get a defensive stop, but that's a great move to the rim by Donahoe.
Donahoe, after nailing 3 threes without a miss from late first half to early second half, drives and gets the deuce, and it's a 5-point game.
Oklahoma State staying in that zone.
Spears, Caston, now Cook Taylor. She has tied her career high with 12. That one on the end line, out of bounds. Break of the action.
Let's talk a little bit about the activities going on today here on campus.
Well, we have a pink treadmill going, and you've walked on that for us, Brenda, a little bit before in the past, and I think it's such a great way to get people in the community engaged in what we're doing. They really have bought into it. We have a lot of donations that come with it. We have some corporate donations, and we're hopeful that we're going to raise, you know, somewhere close to $20,000 today to send to North Carolina for the KYA Fund. And of course, that's happening all over the country. So when you put it all together, well, it makes a great opportunity to give to research for women's cancers.
Battling underneath, and another whistle. And Oklahoma State, which has battled back from trailing both late first half and early in the second half, dealing with the team, Marcia, that you have to be very proud to witness here. Candy Whitaker's very first team here at Texas Tech. They're battling through some of what you do when you rebuild.
Yeah.
But they have that look about them today, like they want this ball game.
You know, first of all, I have enormous respect for Candy. She was a great player in our program, and we really felt like when she played for us that every single day you were going to get every ounce of energy that she had. She's incredibly intelligent, and she does a great job. I think it's a real tribute to Candy and her staff how hard these kids are still playing. You know, it would have been easy at some points to quit, and they have not done that. And I think it's out of respect for what they know they want to become and how much she's really helped them battle through this.
And her ties with West Texas. I mean, she is from here, went to school here, and now is back. And she has assembled a staff of people that have ties here and her connections with you. How important is that?
Well, I think she brings a lot of knowledge about our traditions. She obviously not only played, but grew up watching it and coming to camps and doing all those things, you know, that you hope every young girl in West Texas wants to do, to come be a part of this, either as a camper or a student at Tech or hopefully someone in this program. And so she understands all of that. She knows the fans here. She knows how this place looked when she played here as a player, and she's really adamant about returning it to that type of a situation. And it's going to take a minute, you know, but she will get it done, and we have all the confidence in her. She's got terrific backing here. Kirby Hocutt has been amazing with her, and I know we're gonna have some great things happen.
When you were speaking with us earlier off air about your role now with the athletic department, you have been responsible for helping to create a leadership academy. Can you describe what you're doing with that?
You know, it's such an amazing project, Brenda. We're so thrilled about the opportunity to do it. It will involve every single athlete that comes to Texas Tech. It's character and leadership development. We also do a lot of life skills to try to give them some skills that we think will impact them for the rest of their lives. We do career education to help them decide what they want to be when they grow up and give them the avenues to make that happen, and a lot of other things that are going to be components of it. And we're just getting it off the ground. We received some funding for it in November at $2.5 million, and we're continuing to fundraise for it at this point. So a great thing for me to be involved with.
Pretty great thing to be involved with right there.
That coast to coast is kind of fun, isn't it?
Amber Battle's one of the great athletes to watch in women's basketball.
She's terrific. She's done a great job. I sometimes forget how fast she is until I watch how many people she's running past on the floor.
Count 'em up.
I love watching her. She's really done a terrific job this year.
You know, another thing that we wanted to make sure we talked to you about before we get going here, as a foul is committed out on the court. Besides the K-Yow Fund today, dollars are also raised that help benefit your leadership circle that you have developed, and that's different than the Leadership Academy you're talking about with the athletic department. So how are things going with your leadership circle?
Great. We have a number of fans who have been consistent donors to that through the years. And at first, Brenda, and when we first developed it, it was because there weren't quite enough dollars to go around sometimes for women's sports. And in order for them to have some recruiting opportunities, say overseas, or take foreign trips as teams and things like that, we put it together so we would have a fund for all of us to use. Now the budgets are so much better. Kirby's done such a great job of making everything equal. So we do use it for different opportunities for leadership, and a lot of opportunities for kids across the board to go and have some leadership conference opportunities, travel different places for themselves personally, and our coaches too. And we still use it some for foreign trips and also for some recruiting opportunities. But it's been a great thing, something our fans can feel like they've been a part of with us for a lot of years, and we're very grateful for their continued support of that.
Johnson with the deep penetration off the fast break. An offensive foul is called against Roshunda Johnson. Game is very, very close in the minds of a lot of OSU fans. Texas Tech has hung with this ball club, doing a lot of little things today. From a coach's perspective, what are some of the things that you've seen from Candy's club?
You know, from the beginning of the year until now, they're like a whole different group of kids, and they haven't been able to necessarily see that play out in the win column. But if you've watched them consistently all year, you know how much better they are. They're just so inexperienced that every day you see a light come on, something that they do better today than they did yesterday. And their defense is so much more improved. They had such a difficult time matching in transition early in the year and walking out and rebounding and those types of things, which I think we've seen a big improvement there. Their offense is more consistent because they're finding and working harder to find good shots, maybe making that extra pass and trying to get the ball in people's hands that need to have it, particularly Battle. Needs to touch it every possession probably, and that's becoming more consistent than it was early.
Are you one of those coaches, you subscribe to the theory, the best thing about freshmen is they become sophomores?
I think so. And we're going to have a lot of that happen here in a hurry. Yeah, there are going to be a lot of them that are going to get an opportunity to do that next year. So we're excited about the future with them, and I think the recruiting possibilities also. And, you know, I just appreciate so much the resiliency of these kids. They really just fought through it and had a lot of pride in what they're trying to do, and I think that's a real testament to them and their character.
You truly can learn a lot more sometimes during losing.
No question, you know, and you check your whole card every day to see, you know, what you can go do today to make it better and try to control the things you can. And as you can imagine, for someone as competitive as Candy Whitaker, it's been tough. It's been very difficult, but she's had a lot of support, and she's been tough-minded about it, and has just worked her way through it.
Marcia, thank you so much for joining us. We support all the endeavors that you're involved
Thank
with.
you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
We talked about in the Open who rarely come off the court. Haven't come off the court today. They're so valuable to their teams. Tiffany Bias in her leadership role as the point guard. What she has done to get the scores early, to set up the scores late when Texas Tech answered. But the offense goes through Amber Battle for Texas Tech. So important for her to continue to stay on the court.
Bias with 17 to lead all scorers. And Battle with 11. She has an average of 17.2 points per game, which is fourth best in the Big 12. So they've kind of held up their end of this entire situation, and exactly what we expected when we began the fray. It's now a 6-point game.
You know, but anytime, Bob, that you're the favorite, you do not want to allow the underdog to stick around, because the longer the underdog sticks around, the more they can believe they can get a victory, and that's what we're seeing now with Texas Tech.
Battle now has 13, hit the open jumper. She's had a lot of help today, too. Cook Taylor with 12 as a starter today. After the miss, Caston has it, and an opportunity to make this a one-possession game once again. This is Cook Taylor with the ball. And now Schneider closes the gap to 2.
Big shot for Texas Tech. They don't get a lot of points out of Schneider. Have her defensive presence, but that was a pretty face-up jumper. She has the capability to hit.
Bias using the screen. From the key, off the mark, Battle boards it.
We talked about how young this Texas Tech team is. Caston, Cook Taylor, Lizarazu, all freshmen.
Lady Raiders retake the lead off the 3-ball. Timeout, Jim Littell.
And like you said, Bob, other players besides Battle getting involved, and that is so key for Candy Whitaker's team. The drive, and Amber Battle is behind. She's the target from the dribble penetration that was set up by the freshman. But then the next basket, Schneider coming over the short corner, faces up, has that nice face-up game. And then the last one, the pass to the corner, setting up Caston. A lot of play. Oklahoma State doesn't have any bad losses this year. They've lost to West Virginia twice and to Baylor twice. That's 4 losses, 4 of their 5 losses to the top 2 teams in the conference. The other was at Oklahoma in a Bedlam game where Oklahoma had a fantastic game at home. Oklahoma State has battled through a lot of games this year, so at this point in the season, can they battle through this as much emotion as Texas Tech is bringing to the court?
This is Lizarazu. Under 9 minutes to go. As Caston controls, they work around the perimeter against the zone, and they create the turnover. Donahoe ended up with the steal. Bias in transition, finds Jones.
It's a big part of why Bias is the leader all-time in assists for Oklahoma State. Her speed and her court vision and awareness. Just pushed the ball down 100 miles an hour and found Jones for the basket.
5th assist to go with 17 points for Bias.
Texas Tech continuing to work against this zone. The dribble penetration has worked. The ball movement, using the short corner. They're being patient right now, but need to find a sense of urgency here.
3 on the clock. Caston. Air ball. Might have been partially blocked as Jones ends up with it.
And Amber Battle never touched the basketball on that possession.
Martin had it stripped out of her hands. Caston waits for help.
Doesn't have numbers. That's a good choice.
Battle. Another good choice.
Exactly. That's why I said Amber Battle hadn't touched the ball in the last possession, so make sure she gets a touch. That's what happens.
15 for Amber Battle. Texas Tech back up by 1. Bias draws the contact. The foul will go against Lizarazu. Bias will head to the line when we return. Bias, of course, was fouled by Lizarazu just before the last timeout. She heads to the line for 2. As she makes that initial shot, Bias has a game-high 18 points. Tag one on there. Hasn't missed a minute of play, nor has Amber Battle. One of our pregame themes.
And it's just amazing when you think about it. Tiffany Bias leads the conference in minutes per game. Amber Battle is third in the conference in minutes per game. As valuable as they are to their teams, they just rarely come off the court, and that takes a lot of endurance to do the things that they do. They're not just players taking up space. They are players that are leaned on a lot for their respective teams.
8 on the clock. Spears almost overthrows Battle. Battle in some traffic. Off balance and off target, but a nice rebound, and then hitting the deck is Nobles. She's going to be okay.
Well, first of all, if Amber Battle would have gotten that shot to go down, that would have been pretty amazing. She never did quite have a handle. But Nobles working hard on the glass, and she may have just gotten her feet tangled up a little bit. That's an unfortunate foul call for Oklahoma State.
Off the inbounds, look at Battle's athleticism again. She was too deep underneath, didn't care about it. She still launched it on the shuffle shot and got fouled.
A beautiful flash through the lane by Battle to make herself available for the pass.
So Battle to the line, looking to add to her total of 15 and trying to help Texas Tech retake the lead.
Here's that inbounds play, just a little flash right into the lane, coming right to the basketball. Atkins not aware. You have to be aware, as Jim Littell told us coming back after the halftime locker room, that we got to be aware where Amber Battle is.
1 of 2 at the line for Amber Battle. This is our 5th tie of the day, our 4th of the second half. Under 7 minutes to play.
Man-to-man defense for Texas Tech. They're going to use that on-ball screen. Let Bias create.
Bias does create. Finds Jones, gets the lay-in.
Boy, that is a veteran point guard right there. Went back and forth, using the defense until the defense was confused, leaving Jones wide open.
That'll find Spears on the sideline. Nobles up top, Lizarazu. Off the dribble drive is fouled by Johnson. Or check that. It will be on Johnson. Freshman out of Little Rock, Arkansas has fouled out.
And that takes away their depth at the guard position, another scorer at the guard position. When the others have struggled to shoot those mid-range jumpers, she seems to be a consistent, steady shooter when she pulls the trigger, and a good defender as well. So that takes away from the weapons that Oklahoma State has here down the stretch.
Bias calling out the play. 10 on the clock. Bias gets it back, 7 on the clock. Atkins straightaway tray, won't go down. Did everything but score. Battle, penetrates, scoops. Beautiful move. You hear the oohs and the ahs here in Lubbock as that one didn't quite go down.
Just amazing body control and just an outstanding vertical leap. Just couldn't finish.
Saw the Red Sea parting there in the lane as well as she got space. Bias dumps it off to Jones again. Too hard off the back iron this time. Nobles gets ahead to Lizarazu. But Taylor's had double digits today as she puts the ball on the floor. She is fouled and will go to the free throw line. They are one away from the double bonus with over 5 minutes remaining.
They continue to attack. When you want to have an opportunity to knock off a top 25 team, you want to put the ball on the floor, attack, and be aggressive.
That was the 4th foul on Bias. Red alert.
They've already lost Johnson.
Bias with 6 assists and 19 points, and of course the leadership incalculable.
And she's going to stay on the court, but she's going to have to make good decisions, not get herself in a situation where she fouls out.
This is our 6th tie. Check that. It is Atkins who has the 4 fouls. Bias was not assessed a foul that last time, and she has not committed one today. So we'll update you on that stat. So Bias does not have a foul. It is Atkins who has the 4 fouls.
Good correction. That's way too valuable for Bias to be in that situation.
This is Cook Taylor. Cook Taylor drives. And Donahoe ends up with a nice method of dribbling out of some traffic and gets ahead to Atkins.
So the last possession, Bias had Donahoe coming off a pro cut. We have that circular pattern around the high post, and Donahoe, in Bias's estimation, was open, and she threw it right at her back. Donahoe didn't score. This time a better executed play in an important situation for Oklahoma State.
As Martin now has 8 points. Remember, she scored the first 4 of the game for OSU. And now gets back in the scoring column as they retake the lead over Texas Tech. The drive, the scoop, Spears scores, and we're tied again.
The redshirt freshman has improved so much. 12 games this year in double figures, playing with a lot of confidence.
7th tie of the ball game. Donahoe for 3. She's fouled on the try. It didn't go down, but she'll get 3 free throws.
Down the stretch.
Donahoe, remember, was fouled on a 3-point try. Misses the first of 3. She's an 88% free throw shooter, 3rd best in the conference. Her 88.9% free throw mark career-wise is the best ever at OSU. She makes the 2nd of her 3 to break the tie. And 1 more coming.
She has 3 3-pointers, a couple of big ones at the end of the first half when Texas Tech had made a big run, and then another big one at the beginning of the second half.
She'd only missed 7 free throws all season before that trip went 2 for 3. 2-point game, 3.5 to go.
So what can Oklahoma State do to disrupt? Not allow Texas Tech to have any easy looks, any quality looks.
Lizarazu, 8 on the clock, dribble penetration. Nice ball rotation. Spears 3-ball gives the Lady Raiders the lead.
Lizarazu with the great dribble penetration against the zone. She's tried it a few times, it's worked. A few times she's turned it over. That time she had the patience to set up Spears.
9 for Spears. Jones smacks that one off the square and through.
Good answer offensively, but to me, the big possessions here down the stretch have to be defensively for Oklahoma State. They've got to get stops. They can't give Texas Tech hope. That's too easy of a look.
Wide open jumper, battle misses. Schneider rebounds, new clock. This is Spears, who just had her 9th point a moment ago.
You talked about the poise of Texas Tech in the first half. Even the poise down the stretch here. That one gets away from them, but they've moved the ball patiently against the zone defense. And finally, Oklahoma State able to get one of those stops that I talked about them needing here down the stretch.
Lizarazu just could not keep the handle as she dribbled right of the lane near the baseline, and the turnover, the 12th of the day against Texas Tech. Bias throws it away. Intercepted by Lizarazu. Ahead for Battle. gathers it in and smartly throws it out. There were 3 defenders in front. And the scoop shot there by Caston caught nothing.
What a bad break for Texas Tech, because Battle, if she could have corralled that basketball, had an easy layup in front of her.
Under 2 minutes to go in regulation in Lubbock. 1-point game. OSU lead and ball. This is Donahoe, 10 on the clock. Gave a look at Jones, threw to Bias, who was fouled by Liz Arazu.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Liz Arazu saw the ball loose as it got away from Bias, and just an unfortunate location there and foul for Texas Tech.
The near turnover, you could see how Donahoe almost misfired on that pass. Just the 4th team foul on Texas Tech, 1:40 remaining.
So Texas Tech has some fouls to give here. They can play aggressively, very aggressively, going after it.
Bias against Nobles on the perimeter.
And they actually may want to commit some fouls here in case it comes down to a situation where they need to send Oklahoma State to the free throw line.
Zarazu got a piece of that on the back down by Atkins. 5 on the clock. Bias with the ball. Gets the screen. Bias dribble drive. Bias missing the layup. Rebound belongs to Nobles. 65 seconds left. And Candy Whitaker wants to chat with her young Texas Tech team.
Huge defensive stop. Oklahoma State took a long time to try to get something going. They had a good look. Bias putting on the floor in, but they're working for better seating and better positioning right now.
And I think Jim Littell will be the first to admit they have been struggling. They've lost 4 of 7 coming into today's play. Under a minute to go following the Texas Tech timeout. Off the dribble handoff, Spears. 10 on the clock. Drives, lost control, loose ball picked up by Jones.
Good switching defense from Oklahoma State. There was somebody right there wherever Spears went.
Execution out of timeout, something that sometimes differentiates experienced teams from young teams. Now Oklahoma State will take a timeout with 30 days between wins. This would be sweet, but they need a defensive stop and a conversion for it to happen. Donahoe with the basketball, now Bias. Who else would you want the ball controlled by?
And they're choosing just to play defense here, not commit the foul.
Bias fouled as she was going up for the shot. Just a 15 foul, but she was in the act of shooting and will head to the free throw line to try to add to the 1-point margin.
So crossover. Goes up tough in traffic. Spears decides to commit the foul. Not allow easy shot. Good decision.
No minutes on the bench for Bias or Battle. Incredible. Bias to the line. Doubles the OSU lead. She now has 20 to lead all scorers.
You got to think it will come down to it here. Bias at the free throw line. It will likely be in Battle's hands on the other end. They've got 25.6 seconds to work with, though, as Texas Tech.
Bias does not convert. It's a 2-point game. Battle got the rebound and Battle in control. Now Caston, straightaway 3 for the lead. Rebound belongs to Texas Tech and a quick timeout with 14.6 seconds left and an average 4th best in the Big 12. Will they go for the tie, or prior to the timeout, will they go for a 3 and try to take the lead, or if it's late enough, the win? Off the inbounds, guess who? Battle. 10 seconds left in regulation. Battle wheeling, dealing in the lane, lays it in! And the foul! And the foul! With a chance to take the lead!
What a play by Battle to get to the rim, use the on-ball screen, but if you're Oklahoma State, the last thing you want to do, as she weaves through traffic, if you're going to foul, don't let her score. A great move as both Jones and Donahoe converge too late. That's the explosiveness of Amber Battle. Watch how she gets around the on-ball screen, and she is past Jones before she could even help out. Jones makes a poor decision to go after it at that point because Battle was already to the rim. Amber Battle has a 34-inch vertical jump. We have seen it on display today, and that's part of why she was able to get up high enough to get the shot up and not allow the block to take place and draw the foul.
Now that's the good news. The not so good news is the feeling Tiffany Bias may very well touch the basketball. Battle to the line where she's a 73% shooter. She gives the Lady Raiders the lead.
And Texas Tech doesn't have a timeout, so the Oklahoma State does. They can make a decision if they get in trouble.
And the Lady Raiders have a foul to give. 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Bias racing front court. Bias to the lane for the lay-in. 1.5 seconds left. Texas Tech did not use the foul. Buzzer beater from half court almost goes. Off right, no. And Tiffany Bias going